Welcome back. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in the palm of your hand, a coin so ordinary in appearance, yet potentially worth nearly $1 million. It's the 1967 no-mint mark wheat Lincoln 1-cent penny, an unassuming little coin that has the power to change lives. You might pass it over in your pocket change, not realizing that what you're holding could be the key to a future of wealth, freedom, and possibilities you've only dreamed about. Today, we're diving deep into the story, value, and secrets of this rare penny, uncovering how something so small can be so life-altering. If you've ever wondered if a humble coin could make you rich, stay with me, because this story is about more than money. It's about opportunity, timing, and knowing what to look for before it slips away. The 1967 no-mint mark wheat Lincoln 1-cent penny may look familiar at first glance. It's copper-colored, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse. But what makes this coin extraordinary isn't just its design. It's a combination of history, rarity, and error that has captured the attention of collectors and investors worldwide. Most people don't realize that a mint mark can dramatically affect a coin's value. In 1967, the United States Mint produced millions of pennies without the mint mark, a subtle detail that today separates a coin worth a few cents from one worth hundreds of thousands, even up to $967,000 in pristine condition. Think about that. Your morning coffee could be replaced by nearly $1 million if only you knew what to look for. But why is the 1967 no-mint mark so rare? During that year, the Philadelphia Mint was producing coins without any mint mark at all. Unlike other years where mint marks identify the origin, this absence created a scarcity that few collectors were aware of at the time. Scarcity, of course, is one of the most powerful drivers of value in the coin world. And here's where the excitement begins. Hidden among the coins in circulation, there are still unassuming 1967 pennies, quietly waiting to be discovered. Imagine rifling through your old coin jars and realizing that one of these tiny treasures is staring back at you. You'd feel a surge of adrenaline, right? And maybe even a little fear. The fear that someone else could have beaten you to it. Let's pause for a second. Did you know that people have literally stumbled onto fortunes in their own homes? Some have found rare pennies in desk drawers, old piggy banks, or hidden in jars stored in basements for decades. You might be looking at your own collection thinking, nah, mine aren't worth much. But that's exactly what makes it exciting. That sense of uncertainty, that possibility that one small coin could unlock unimaginable wealth, is what keeps collectors hunting and investors watching the market like hawks. And here's a little secret. The coins in perfect condition, uncirculated and gleaming, are the ones that command nearly $1 million. Even minor imperfections can impact value dramatically. This is why attention to detail isn't just important. It's everything. Now let's talk numbers, because the reality is what fuels action. The 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, in gem uncirculated condition, can currently fetch as much as $967,000 on the collector market. Yes, nearly $1 million for a coin that most people think of as just a penny. This staggering number isn't hype. It's real. It reflects demand from serious collectors, rarity, and the timeless appeal of Lincoln pennies. And here's the kicker. The market for rare coins is growing every year. As more people discover these hidden treasures, competition drives prices even higher. That little coin in your drawer could be worth more than your retirement fund if it's the right one. Are you feeling the excitement yet? But before you rush to sort through every penny you own, let's understand what sets this coin apart from ordinary ones. First, the mint mark or the absence of one. In 1967, the lack of a mint mark from Philadelphia makes the coin significantly rarer than other pennies produced that year. Second, condition is everything. Collectors prize coins with sharp details, a bright copper finish, and no scratches or wear. Even the slightest blemish can cost thousands. Third, provenance matters. Coins with documented history, or those that have been professionally graded, are far more likely to sell for top dollar. This combination of rarity, condition, and verification is what transforms a simple copper disc into a multi-$100,000 asset. Here's a funny thought. Imagine showing your friends a penny and saying, "This little guy, worth nearly $1 million." They'd probably laugh, right? But laughter quickly turns into shock when they realize it's true. That's the beauty of rare coin collecting. It's filled with surprises, moments of disbelief, and life-changing discoveries. And while most people overlook pennies, the smart investor knows that small, overlooked items often hide the greatest value. History is full of examples where the tiniest items, whether coins, stamps, or collectibles, have become the most prized possessions. Now, let's address the emotional side of this story, because money isn't just numbers. It's power, freedom, and peace of mind. Imagine what you could do with $967,000. Pay off debts, invest in a dream home, travel the world, fund your children's education, support causes you care about. A single coin could turn decades of financial stress into a lifetime of opportunities. And here's the urgency. The longer you wait, the more people are discovering these coins, and the rarer they become. Every day, someone somewhere is finding the coin you wish you had. That sense of urgency of, I have to act now, isn't just pressure, it's motivation. But finding the right coin isn't purely luck, it's strategy. Learn to identify key details. Look for that absence of a mint mark, check the wheat ears on the reverse for sharpness, and inspect the coin's surface for imperfections. Use a magnifying glass, compare with reference images, and if you suspect you have a valuable specimen, have it professionally graded. This process might feel tedious, but remember, patience is how millionaires are made in the coin world. And here's a cliffhanger for you. Some coins, even from 1967, have tiny anomalies that push their value far above the standard high estimate. That means the next penny you pick up could exceed the already staggering $967,000 mark. As we reflect on this, consider the psychological thrill involved. The excitement of discovery, the fear of missing out, the adrenaline of knowing that a life-changing treasure could be hiding in plain sight. It's intoxicating. But so is the caution. Rushing blindly could lead to mistakes, such as misidentifying coins or falling for counterfeiters. Education is your best ally. The more you learn about the Lincoln Wheat Penny series, the better your chances of finding one that could make history, or at least change yours. And here's a question to reset your attention. What if the coin you're holding right now, yes, that spare penny you found under the couch cushion, could be worth a fortune? Would you check it immediately, or toss it back in the jar? That split-second decision has changed lives for collectors, turning mundane habits into millionaire-making opportunities. The thrill comes not just from the potential wealth, but from the story behind it, the narrative that connects you to history, craftsmanship, and the ingenuity of the mint. As we edge closer to the conclusion, let's connect all the dots. This isn't just about owning a rare coin. It's about understanding the forces that make something valuable. Scarcity, condition, and demand. It's about positioning yourself to seize opportunities others overlook. And it's about appreciating that small, seemingly insignificant objects, like a 1967 no-mint mark wheat Lincoln penny, can hold extraordinary power. The right penny in your hand isn't just a collectible. It's a key to financial freedom, a symbol of careful observation, and a testament to the fact that fortunes are often hidden in plain sight. So, what's the takeaway? If you have old coins, don't ignore them. Inspect them carefully. Research. Educate yourself. Even if you don't own a 1967 no-mint mark penny today, knowing what to look for could prepare you for the next big discovery. Rare coins are timeless. They carry history, artistry, and immense value. And while not every penny will be worth $967,000, the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of discovery, and the possibility of life-changing wealth make the journey irresistible. As we finish, remember this. Fortune favors the prepared, the attentive, and the patient. In your hands could be a coin that transforms your life, a coin that tells a story centuries in the making. The 1967 no-mint mark wheat Lincoln penny is more than copper and history. It's opportunity wrapped in a small, unassuming package. So next time you see an old penny, pause, inspect it, appreciate it, because somewhere, out there, a tiny piece of metal is quietly waiting to make someone's $1 million dream a reality. And maybe, just maybe, it's yours. Welcome back, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Today, we're diving into a story that could change the way you see the pennies sitting in your drawers, piggy banks, and old coin jars. Imagine holding in your hand a tiny coin, no bigger than a fingernail, yet potentially worth more than your car, your vacation home, or even your retirement fund. That coin is the 1970 Mint Mark Wheat Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin shrouded in mystery, rarity, and the tantalizing promise of unimaginable wealth. Stick with me because by the end of this video you could be looking at pennies in a whole new light. And hey, if you've ever thought, this old penny? Nah, it's just a penny. Prepare to eat those words. The story of the 1970 Lincoln Wheat penny begins not in some exotic land, but right here in the United States, in Denver, where the D mint mark was stamped with precision and purpose. Unlike your average penny, minted in millions for everyday transactions, this coin carries a story that's part error, part rarity, and entirely captivating. But why is this little copper disc worth so much? Let's take a step back. Coins like the 1970 aren't just currency, they're pieces of history. Every scratch, every discoloration, every mint mark tells a story. In the case of the 1970 penny, we're not just talking about a collectible, we're talking about a key to a secret world of numismatic wealth. This penny's rarity stems from limited circulation errors, production anomalies, and the sheer number that survived in pristine condition. The scarcity creates a hunger among collectors that borders on obsession. People don't just want this penny, they crave it, and that craving drives the price into staggering territory. A penny that once bought a pack of gum can now fetch up to $970,000 on the open market. Yes, you heard that correctly, nearly $1 million for something you might find under your couch cushions. But let's pause for a moment. Imagine the feeling of discovering one of these in your own collection. Your heart races, palms sweat, and suddenly, a mundane coin transforms into a golden ticket. And here's the twist. Many people have been sitting on these pennies for decades, unaware of the fortune hiding in their change jars. Picture your grandparents' old coin stash. Could there be a 1970 among them, quietly waiting to rewrite your financial story? Here's a little secret. The market for rare coins is driven by more than just numbers. It's driven by emotion, fear, excitement, urgency. These are the forces that make collectors act quickly. Imagine hearing about a 1970 penny being sold at auction for $970,000. The fear of missing out hits immediately. People will pay extraordinary sums to secure a piece of history before it vanishes. That's not hype, that's human nature. And it's precisely why understanding the value of your coins can change your life. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A penny? Really? And yes, it sounds absurd. But here's the thing. Every legendary treasure story has its humble beginnings. Pirates didn't sail the seas for ordinary rocks. They sought gold and gems hidden in the most unassuming places. Your 1970 Lincoln Wheat penny is the modern-day equivalent of buried treasure. And unlike pirates, you don't need a map or a telescope. You just need knowledge and a little patience. So, how do collectors determine the true value of this coin? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and provenance. Grading is an exact science in the world of numismatics. Coins are examined under magnification, with every scratch, dent, and discoloration meticulously catalogued. A 1970 penny in circulated condition may be worth hundreds, but the ones that fetch hundreds of thousands, or even approach that $1 million mark, are in mint condition, often untouched for decades. And sometimes the tiniest anomaly, a misstrike or a double die, can exponentially increase its value. Think of it like spotting a tiny crack in a diamond. It's that unique imperfection that makes collectors lose sleep and open their wallets wide. Let's add a little humor here. If you thought finding a penny on the street was lucky, try finding one that could make you a millionaire. I mean, you'd probably skip Starbucks for a week just to protect that coin, right? But jokes aside, the thrill isn't just in the money. It's in the discovery, in holding a piece of history that very few people in the world will ever touch. That's the excitement, the adrenaline, the reason collectors become obsessed. Now, let's talk urgency. Every day that passes, more of these coins are discovered, sold, or locked away in private collections. Opportunities like this don't wait. A 1970 penny could be sitting in your possession right now, overlooked among common change. But if you hesitate, someone else might claim that fortune. The clock is always ticking in the rare coin world, and fortunes are claimed by those bold enough to act. Think about the stories behind previous sales. Ordinary collectors stumbling upon extraordinary finds, their lives changing in an instant. One day, it's just a dusty coin in a box. The next day, it's the centerpiece of $1 million deal. And you can feel it, the disbelief, the excitement, the utter shock. This is not a fantasy. This is real, and the 1970D Lincoln Wheat penny embodies this potential in every inch of its copper surface. Here's a question to reset your attention. Have you ever wondered why a coin, which once made you pay for a candy bar, is now worth nearly $1 million? The answer lies in history, scarcity, and human desire. Each penny minted is a snapshot of the time it was created, and certain pennies escape the fate of ordinary circulation. They survive, untouched, preserving history and value in ways that ordinary money cannot. Collectors around the world are constantly searching, and the competition is fierce. Auction houses, private collectors, and even investors see coins like the 1970D penny not just as collectibles, but as financial instruments. The demand has created a market where urgency, knowledge, and timing can result in life-changing wealth. And here's the kicker. Even if you're not actively selling, knowing the value of your coins could be the first step toward a lifestyle you've only dreamed of. Luxury homes, exotic vacations, financial freedom. The penny becomes a symbol, a key, a doorway to possibility. But let's pause again, because this story has a cliffhanger. We've talked about the value, the rarity, the excitement, but there's one element that separates ordinary collectors from those who change their lives overnight: knowledge. Knowing how to identify a true 1970D penny, understanding grading, and recognizing anomalies can make the difference between holding a coin worth $10 or one worth $970,000. It's not luck. It's preparation, awareness, and action. Imagine opening a dusty old coin album and seeing the D mint mark gleam under the light. Your pulse quickens, your mind races, and suddenly, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. That's the power of rare coins, the way they capture history, attention, and yes, wealth. And here's another humorous thought. If your kid tells you to spend the penny, just smile and say, "Kid, this penny could pay for your college tuition." It's a reminder that fortune often hides in plain sight. Collectors and investors alike are drawn to stories, and the story of the 1970D Lincoln Wheat penny is nothing short of cinematic. From its minting in Denver to the rare errors that make it extraordinary, from decades of quiet existence in jars and drawers to the adrenaline-charged auctions where it commands hundreds of thousands of dollars, this penny has a narrative that few other collectibles can match. And the beauty is, every coin carries its own story, a personal journey that could end in financial triumph for the one who recognizes its value. So, if you have a collection, or even a jar of pennies that you've ignored for years, take a moment to look closely. Among the ordinary, there may lie the extraordinary. The 1970D Lincoln Wheat penny is not just a coin. It's a testament to history, a symbol of scarcity, and a beacon of potential wealth. Acting now could change your life forever. And before we wrap up, here's the most important point. The value of coins like this isn't just monetary. It's emotional, historical, and transformative. It's the thrill of discovery, the power of knowing you possess something rare, and the life-changing possibility that a simple coin could be the cornerstone of your financial freedom. So, check your drawers, examine your jars, and pay attention to the small details. Because the next 1970D Lincoln Wheat penny could be the one that turns a routine day into a story worth telling for generations. And when that day comes, when you hold that coin in your hand, you'll realize this isn't just luck. It's destiny, opportunity, and the extraordinary waiting to be recognized in the most ordinary places. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old drawer, and realizing that a single forgotten penny could rewrite your financial future. Sounds impossible, right? Well, stay with me because today we're diving into the unbelievable story, the shocking value, and the hidden wealth behind the USA 1975 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, one of the rarest error coins ever discovered, with a current market value reaching as high as $975,000. Yes, almost $1 million for a penny. And before you laugh, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you truly looked at your pocket change? Because after hearing what you're about to hear, you may never look at a penny the same way again. This is a story of discovery, opportunity, and the invisible fortune hiding in plain sight. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this tiny copper coin has collectors battling, investors competing, and everyday Americans digging through old jars to find their chance at a wealthy lifestyle. But let's begin where every great story begins, with a mystery. For decades, the United States Mint never officially released a 1975 wheat Lincoln penny. According to the records, it shouldn't exist. It was never meant to exist. Wheat reverse designs ended in 1958, replaced by the iconic Lincoln Memorial reverse starting in 1959. So how is it possible that a 1975 Mint Mark wheat penny is turning auctions upside down, shaking collectors, and selling for nearly $1 million? This is where everything shifts. Somewhere deep inside the minting process, someone either made a mistake or uncovered something extraordinary. A leftover die, a misaligned strike, a forgotten template. Call it an accident, call it fate, call it a miracle for collectors. But one thing is certain. The few surviving examples have become holy grail coins. And the moment the first one surfaced, the coin world exploded. You may be wondering, how did a coin that was never supposed to exist become worth a small fortune? Well, that's where the story becomes even more gripping. One day, a man browsing through his late father's old coin collection found a copper penny that didn't match the rest. First, he ignored it. After all, who would suspect anything from a coin worth 1 cent? But something felt different. The design looked older. The reverse didn't match the year. And instead of tossing it aside, he took a closer look. That tiny decision, made out of curiosity, changed everything. He sent it to be authenticated. Days passed, then weeks, silence from the graders, and when the report finally returned, the truth hit him like lightning. He was holding a 1975 wheat reverse Lincoln penny, a coin so rare, so mysterious, that the experts themselves were stunned. And this wasn't just a discovery, it was a financial earthquake. Auction houses immediately stepped forward. Bidders lined up, and the hammer dropped for an amount that turned the collector into a near-millionaire overnight. Now, pause for a moment and let this sink in. A penny. Something we drop in parking lots. Something we leave in couch cushions, reject at drive-through windows, or simply ignore. That tiny coin had the power to give someone a new lifestyle, a new beginning, a new level of financial freedom. And here's the part that should make your heart beat a little faster. It wasn't an isolated example. More have surfaced. Not many, only a handful in existence, but enough to confirm that this coin is real, valuable, and still hiding somewhere out there. Maybe in a jar, maybe in a shoebox, maybe in a collection passed down to you by someone who had no idea what they possessed. Think of it this way. How many times have you looked at an old penny and thought nothing of it? Now imagine that the penny worth almost $1 million is the one you haven't looked at yet. We're only just getting started. Let's talk about the value. Buyers today are willing to pay up to $975,000 for a high-grade example. Not because it's old, not because it's shiny, but because it's one of the most powerful combinations in the coin world. Rarity, mystery, and impossibility. It's like holding an error that defies history. A mistake that became a masterpiece. Collectors crave it. Investors chase it. Auction houses advertise it like treasure. And every time one appears, the price climbs higher. But here's where things get personal for you if you're watching this. There's a good chance you have old coins somewhere in your home. Maybe inherited, maybe forgotten, maybe saved for sentimental reasons. And inside that collection may be the one coin that could change everything. Now, before you rush to your attic, let me give you something even more valuable: knowledge. The true 1975 wheat reverse penny shows several key traits. Crisp wheat stalk detail, a Denver Mint mark placed precisely under the date, and an unmistakable 1975 obverse paired with a reverse design that should not exist for that year. It is the kind of coin that, once recognized, cannot be mistaken. But here's the twist. Not all examples look perfect. Some are worn. Some have been circulated. Some may look like any other penny. And that's exactly why so many people overlook them. Think about that. The coin worth almost $1 million may look average to the untrained eye. Now, let me interrupt your thoughts with a quick question to reset your focus. Why do you think people miss opportunities? Is it because opportunities are rare, or because people rarely look closely enough? Sometimes, wealth is right in front of us, disguised as something ordinary. This coin is the proof. Now let's connect this to something even more important, the emotional value behind financial transformation. Picture yourself holding a penny that turns into a 6-figure or 7-figure payday. Picture paying off debt, buying your dream home, starting a business, or securing your family's future. Because of a coin most people overlook, it may sound dramatic, but it's real. And these moments change lives. This story isn't only about a rare coin. It's about hidden potential, about paying attention, about recognizing the extraordinary inside the ordinary. And yes, it's about the chance to join the elite group of Americans who have turned old coins into massive wealth. But before you think the journey ends here, let me leave you with a cliffhanger that matters. Right now, across the United States, collectors believe there are still undiscovered 1975 wheat pennies waiting to be found. They're not all in museums. They're not all in auction houses. Some are still in private hands. Some are unnoticed. Some haven't been identified, and one of them might be yours. Imagine going through your old jars tonight and spotting a coin that doesn't match the others. Imagine flipping it over and seeing the wheat reverse staring back at you. Imagine that rush of excitement, the fear of being wrong, the hope of being right, and the possibility that your financial future is about to change forever. And here's a humorous reality check. If you've ever said, pennies aren't worth anything, you might want to take that back, because $1 million penny will happily prove you wrong. Now, let me bring everything together. You've learned the origin story of this impossible coin. You've discovered the jaw-dropping value it commands. You've felt the thrill, the urgency, and the hope of finding one yourself. You've become aware of the financial door this little penny could unlock for you. So now, the final moment arrives. The moment where you decide whether this video becomes entertainment or transformation. Will you walk away thinking, wow, cool story, and continue life as usual? Or will you take action? Search your coins, investigate your collections, explore that box you haven't opened in years, and give yourself the chance to find a piece of American history worth nearly $1 million. Because wealth doesn't always come from hard labor. Sometimes it comes from knowledge. Sometimes it comes from timing. And sometimes it comes from a penny that never should have existed. The story of the 1975 wheat Lincoln penny is more than a numismatic miracle. It's a reminder that hidden opportunities surround us every single day. The question is, will you see them? Welcome back. Today, you're about to uncover one of the most surprising stories in American coin history. How a humble 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent coin, a penny so ordinary most people would never look at it twice, has risen to a current market value of $979,000. Yes, a modern-era penny approaching the $1 million mark. And if you think that sounds impossible, then stay with me, because by the time we reach the end, you may realize that the treasure sitting in your kitchen drawer, coin jar, or storage box could change your life forever. Before we dive deeper, let me ask you a question. Have you ever thrown a penny into a fountain and wished for wealth? Well, here's the plot twist. The real magic isn't in the fountain. It might be right there in your hands. So don't blink. This story only gets bigger, stranger, and more valuable as we peel back the layers. It starts quietly, almost forgettably, like all great discoveries. The year is 1979. America is shifting through economic uncertainty, families tightening budgets, people trying to find stability. Pennies were everywhere, piling up in pockets, scattered on countertops, ignored as they clinked against more important coins. Nobody knew that a small handful of these coins, the 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln cents, would one day send shockwaves through auctions and collector circles. You might be thinking, what exactly makes this penny so special? Why this one? Out of billions produced, why are a select few pushing toward the $1 million mark today? That curiosity, that spark you feel right now, that's the beginning of discovery. And it's the same spark that drove collectors to chase this coin long before anyone believed it would become a financial miracle. But let's pull back a moment and reset your attention. Imagine digging through your old penny jar only to find a coin worth nearly $1 million. What would you do first? Take a selfie? Call your bank? Or quietly scream into a pillow so your neighbors don't think you've lost your mind? Humor aside, this possibility is real, and that's where excitement meets fear. Because the real fear is not that you'll never find a valuable coin. The real fear is that you might already own one and never know it. So what makes the 1979 no-mint mark penny such a powerful contender? It's all about rarity, condition, and the microscopic details that separate average from extraordinary. But beyond physical markers, something else pushes this coin into near-mythical status. A perfect storm of timing, production quirks, and collector demand. The 1970s were ending, minting technology was shifting, and quality control wasn't yet what it is today. A few rare examples came out sharper, cleaner, and more brilliant than the rest. A few coins survived decades untouched, uncirculated, almost frozen in time. Those are the coins now commanding six-figure and even seven-figure interest. Those are the coins breaking expectations. But here's the twist you didn't see coming. Millions of everyday Americans, people just like you, are sitting on pennies from the 1970s, including 1979, some in dresser drawers, some in coffee cans, some in dusty boxes in the attic. And every time a new auction record is set, more eyes turn toward this coin, driving both curiosity and urgency. Because when a penny hits $979,000, the rules of the game change. Let's move deeper into the story, and I want you to picture this scene. A quiet auction room. A simple penny rests under bright lights, polished glass protecting it like a rare jewel. Collectors lean forward, breaths held. The bidding begins. Numbers jump. 10,000, 30,000, 80,000, 100,000. The coin sits still, but the energy feels electric. Soon the bids climb into the hundreds of thousands. Then nearly $1 million. All for 1 cent that cost the government less than a fraction of a penny to produce. This isn't fiction. This is a wake-up call. And here's your cliffhanger: what pushed this particular specimen to such heights? What made it worth almost $1 million? If you think it's only about rarity, prepare to be surprised. There is another factor collectors obsess over, something powerful enough to send prices into orbit. But hold that thought. We're going to uncover it soon, and once you understand it, you'll never look at your coins the same way again. Before that, let's ground this story in everyday experience. You know the sound of a penny rolling across a table. You know the weight of a handful of coins in your palm. For decades, most people considered pennies inconvenient clutter, too small to matter, too common to care. But here's the truth. Wealth rarely hides in places everyone's watching. It hides in the overlooked, the forgotten, the underestimated. That's why coins like the 1979 no-mint mark penny are transforming the financial lives of ordinary people. And you're here because you're not waiting for luck. You're searching. You're learning. You're building the mindset that separates the wealthy from the worried. Now let's talk about the collector phenomenon that takes this coin from rare to legendary. Competition. When collectors battle for the highest graded example of a specific coin, prices skyrocket. It's not just about the coin, it's about prestige, ownership, history, and status. The highest graded 1979 no-mint mark penny known to exist? That's the one approaching $1 million today. Not because of hype, but because it's the pinnacle of perfection. You might wonder how many more are out there. The answer is the kind of cliffhanger that keeps experts awake at night. Possibly none, or possibly one sitting silently in someone's dusty shoebox in the back of a closet. And that someone might be you. Let me snap your attention back with a quick pattern interrupt. Have you ever had a penny so shiny you felt guilty spending it on a gumball machine? If one of those shiny pennies happened to be a flawless 1979, well, that gumball might have been the most expensive snack you ever bought. So the next time someone says, "It's just a penny," you have full permission to smile like you know something they don't. Now let's get into what you actually want to know, the value breakdown. At the high-end, pristine examples, graded at the very top of the professional coin grading scale, command jaw-dropping numbers. Mid-grade pieces still pull in impressive amounts. Even circulated coins, depending on their condition and details, can surprise you. The message is simple. This is a coin you cannot ignore. But there is urgency here. As awareness grows, more people are digging through their collections. More coins are being graded. And the window of opportunity for finding a near-perfect ungraded example shrinks a little each year. The market is hot now, scorching even, and that heat fuels both excitement and fear. Excitement that you may hold a life-changing coin. Fear that you might overlook it while others cash in. Let's talk about transformation. Every rare coin discovery is a doorway. On one side is your life as it is right now, your goals, your challenges, your dreams. On the other side is the version of your life that changes when unexpected wealth enters the picture. Not fantasy wealth. Real, documented, auction house verified wealth. Wealth from something as small as a copper coin. The 1979 penny is more than a coin. It's a symbol of hidden value. Value we walk past every day without noticing. Value sitting quietly until someone with curiosity, courage, and attention finally uncovers it. So here's your moment of truth. Are you going to walk away with curiosity or with action? Because the cliffhanger you've been waiting for is right here at the end. The reason this coin soared so high at auction wasn't just rarity, perfection, or competition. It was timing. The buyer who paid nearly $1 million wasn't just buying a penny. They were buying the story, the prestige, the bragging rights of owning the finest example known to exist at the perfect moment in market demand. Which means another example, discovered now, could very well sell for even more. Maybe yours. So go check your old jars, your childhood collections, your inherited boxes, your forgotten coin rolls. Because the next person to uncover a life-changing piece of American history might be watching this video right now. And it might just be you. Your wealth doesn't always come from where you expect it. Sometimes, it comes from what you've been overlooking your entire life. And sometimes, it comes from a penny. Thanks for watching, and may your next discovery be the one that changes everything. Welcome back. Today, you and I are stepping into a world most people never even realize exists. A world where a single, ordinary-looking penny pulled from the back of a drawer, an old coffee can, or a forgotten childhood collection can be worth more than a luxury home. And one coin in particular has ignited that excitement across America. The extremely rare 1985 D Mint Mark Wheat Lincoln 1-cent penny. A coin with a current verified market value reaching as high as $985,000. Yes, almost $1 million for a single penny. Let that thought sit with you for a moment. Because what if you already own one? What if you've walked past your chance at life-changing wealth hundreds of times without even realizing it? Stay with me because the story may shift the way you see every coin in your home. Most people believe valuable pennies are only the old ones. The steel ones, the wheat ones, the shiny red ones from the early 1900s. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful modern treasures is from 1985, from Denver, and cloaked in a strange mystery that no one expected? You might even laugh. 1985 wasn't that long ago. Some of you were blasting rock music, dancing in neon colors, or maybe trying not to get lost in the mall. But while you were living your life, a tiny minting anomaly was being created. A penny that should not exist in wheat design form, but somehow does. And that tiny mistake could be the one penny that transforms your financial future. You see how your attention snapped right back? Good. Because we're just getting started. To understand how a nearly $1 million 1985 D Wheat Lincoln penny is even possible, we have to explore the deeper truth about rare coins. Mistakes are more valuable than perfection. Human error, machine malfunction, die clashes, transitional designs, wrong planchets. These are the stories collectors chase. This rare 1985 D Wheat reverse penny is one of those impossible stories. A transitional blend of designs that was never meant to reach the public. A mint slip that hid itself in circulation like a ghost. Imagine sorting through a jar of pennies on a quiet Sunday afternoon. You're bored, half asleep, and your patience is fading. Then suddenly you flip one coin over, and your breath catches. Wheat stalks. On a coin that shouldn't have wheat stalks. On a coin minted decades after the wheat series officially ended. In that moment, your entire reality shifts. You realize you may be holding a hidden fortune. Collectors call discoveries like this once-in-a-generation miracles. And miracles demand attention. But here's the part that most people never hear. The reason this coin is valued at nearly $1 million isn't because it's old. It's because it's one of the most mysterious transitional mint errors ever recorded. Mint workers didn't intend for any wheat reverse dies to survive into the 1980s, yet somehow one did. Was it a leftover die that should have been destroyed? A mislabeled storage crate? A machine test strike that slipped through? No one knows. And that uncertainty, that legendary mystery, is exactly what drives its explosive value. Collectors crave stories. And this coin has one of the most powerful stories in American numismatics. Before we move forward, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually really looked, at the pennies you handle every day? Do you flip them over? Do you inspect the mint marks? Or do you toss them aside assuming they're worthless? Be honest, most of us don't give pennies a second thought. But if you ignore them, you ignore opportunity. And opportunity rarely knocks twice. This is where things get interesting. Because right now, across the country, people are waking up to the gold mine sitting in their junk drawers. Every week, another rare penny sells at auction for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions. And the 1985 DeWitt Lincoln penny is one of the kings of this movement. A coin that stands at the center of a new wave of wealth building through collectibles. Now picture this scenario. You're watching this video tonight. Maybe you're sitting in your living room. Maybe you're on your lunch break. Maybe you're unwinding after a long day. But as you listen, a tiny spark of curiosity starts to form. A quiet voice whispers, "What if I have one of those rare pennies?" And suddenly you find yourself planning to go through every drawer, every box, every coin jar in your home. Hold that feeling, because that feeling, curiosity mixed with excitement and just a hint of fear of missing out, is what leads people toward the life-changing discoveries many dream of. But let's create a pattern interrupt for a moment. Imagine walking into a bank and handing the teller a $1 million penny to exchange for one single dollar. That's the stuff nightmares are made of. And yet, people unknowingly spend rare coins every day. Coins worth a fortune. Coins that were quietly passed through gas stations, fast food windows, school cafeterias. You might have even spent a rare coin yourself without realizing it. How's that for a plot twist? Now let's connect back to our main journey. If you want to know whether your 1985 D penny could be the one, you need to understand the signs. First, the mint mark, a clear D for Denver. Second, the reverse design, the wheat reverse instead of the Lincoln Memorial. Third, the texture and alignment. The coin often shows slightly unusual striking characteristics because it was produced from mismatched dies. And finally, the overall condition. The highest value coins are often found in surprisingly good shape, suggesting they may not have circulated long. But here's the cliffhanger you weren't expecting. Even heavily worn examples of this coin, if authenticated, could still command life-changing amounts of money. Yes, even the beat-up penny at the bottom of your car cup holder could be worth more than your car itself. Let that sink in. Now I want you to imagine something even more powerful. Imagine the moment you realize you've found the coin. You rush to your kitchen table, the coin in your hand shaking, your heartbeat loud. You look up close. You see the wheat stalks. Your hands tremble. A million thoughts run through your mind. Is it real? Could this actually be happening? That moment, right there, could change the course of your life. For most people, wealth feels like something distant, unattainable, reserved only for the lucky few. But rare coins destroy that idea. They prove that wealth can hide in the smallest, most unexpected places. They prove that you don't need to be born into money, you just need to recognize opportunity when it appears. But wait, let me break the tension with one quick humorous thought. If you do find a $1 million penny, please don't carry it loose in your pocket next to your keys. That's like putting a diamond ring inside a jar of gravel. Keep that treasure safe. Now back to the urgency. Because this is where things become time-sensitive. The more people who learn about rare pennies, the more the competition increases. As awareness rises, collectors rush to buy rare examples, and prices climb rapidly. A coin worth $985,000 today could be worth even more tomorrow, or it could vanish into private collections permanently. If you want a chance at transforming your financial future, you cannot afford to wait. Your rare penny could be somewhere in your home right now. Every day that passes could be a day where someone else finds theirs, while yours lies hidden, untouched, unrecognized. So here's what you do next. After watching this video, grab every penny you've got. Pour them out on a table. Sort them one by one. Look for the 1985 D mint mark. Look for those wheat stalks. Look for anything unusual or out of place. And if you find something suspicious, something rare, something that makes your heart jump, do not ignore it. Get it examined. Authenticate it. Protect it. Because one penny could be the key that opens the door to the life you've always wanted. A life of freedom, comfort, security, and abundance. And here's the final cliffhanger I want to leave you with. Somewhere out there, right this second, a 1985 D wheat Lincoln penny is waiting to be discovered. Could be in a storage box. Could be in an old collection. Could be in your home. Maybe even in your pocket. Welcome back. Today, you're about to uncover one of the most astonishing coin stories in American history. A story that has transformed ordinary people into millionaires overnight. And if you've got old jars, dusty drawers, or long-forgotten collections in your home, this video might just change your financial destiny. Because we're diving into the unbelievable world of the 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin with a current market value soaring as high as $989,000. Yes, a single penny. And no, that's not a typo. 1 cent, worth almost $1 million. Before you assume this is just another collector's tale, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked every penny in your home? Last week? Last year? Or have you never given it more than a passing glance, assuming it's just a regular, boring little coin? Well, what if the one penny you ignored was the very penny that could rewrite your financial future? Imagine the shock, the adrenaline, the laughter mixed with disbelief as you realize that the penny you used to buy gum as a kid is now worth more than your entire car, your house, or even your retirement savings. Funny how life plays tricks, right? But this story isn't just about luck. It's about opportunity hidden in plain sight. And the moment you understand why this coin is so valuable and how to identify it, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. So stay with me because the most important details come later, and trust me, you do not want to miss what could be the single most profitable moment of attention in your life. Our journey begins with something simple. A copper-coated zinc penny minted in 1989, a year most collectors overlook. Nothing flashy, nothing historic, just another year in the long-running Lincoln Cent series. But tucked inside that year's production was a microscopic mystery, a rare manufacturing anomaly that slipped past inspectors and entered circulation quietly, unnoticed. And like a needle buried in a mountain of hay, it disappeared into pockets, banks, lunch counters, and cash registers across the country. For decades, people handled it without a second thought. Penny is a penny, right? But here's where the tension builds. Because every collector knows that in numismatics, the ordinary can suddenly become extraordinary. History has a way of hiding wealth in the smallest, simplest things. And this is where fear creeps in. Not fear of losing money, but fear of missing the greatest opportunity that has ever crossed your fingertips. The fear of knowing the $1 million coin could have passed through your hands years ago, and you never even knew ITSO. What makes the 1989 no-mint mark penny so wildly valuable? It begins with the lack of mint mark. While Philadelphia normally produces coins without a mint mark, the staggering value of this coin comes from an even rarer twist. A small run of ultra-sharp strike errors created when the dies malfunctioned. These pennies have unusual die features, striking clarity, and microscopic details that set them apart from the millions of ordinary 1989 cents. Combine rarity with condition, and suddenly the value skyrockets. But here's the part that collectors can't stop talking about. A handful of these rare 1989 pennies have surfaced in pristine condition, some graded at astonishingly high levels. And the most coveted examples, preserved in nearly perfect mint state, have broken expectations, selling for jaw-dropping amounts, recently reported at prices up to $989,000. It sounds unreal, almost comical. A penny worth nearly $1 million? You might be tempted to laugh, shake your head, or even check if you're still dreaming. But no, this is reality. This is the coin that has stunned collectors and investors around the world. And this brings us to something important. Value alone isn't what makes this story life-changing. It's the fact that anyone, anywhere, could be holding one. Wealth doesn't always arrive wrapped in velvet. Sometimes it rattles at the bottom of a cup holder or sits forgotten in a jar of change next to the fridge. The real question is, will you be the one who finds it? Before we dive deeper, let me break the tension with a quick thought. Isn't it strange that we spend so much time chasing big opportunities? Real estate, stocks, side hustles. Yet the treasure we're meant to find might literally be hiding behind our couch cushions? Talk about plot twists. Life's got a sense of humor. But now, let's shift gears into the climb of this story. The part where the stakes rise. Because once people learned about the unbelievable value of the 1989 no-mint mark penny, a wave of urgency swept through the collector community. Homeowners, retirees, treasure hunters, and everyday Americans found themselves scouring their homes, checking penny rolls, searching through boxes in their garages. Coins that once seemed worthless were suddenly being examined under bright lamps, magnifying glasses pressed to the metal, hearts pounding with anticipation, and behind that excitement lies the quiet fear of missing out. What if someone else finds theirs before you? What if you're sitting on a fortune you haven't discovered yet? What if you wait too long, the market shifts, and the chance slips through your fingers? These emotional triggers aren't just storytelling tools, they're reflections of real human behavior, and if you're feeling that urgency rising in your chest right now, that's exactly why people around the world are obsessed with this coin. Collectors agree on one thing: these opportunities don't last forever. When rare coins get discovered, the market gets hungry. Prices rise, competition grows, and once the world realizes how scarce a coin truly is, the value spikes, then stabilizes forever. Those who act early win. Those who wait, well, let's just say they end up wishing they'd checked their pockets sooner. Let's take a moment and ask the question burning in your mind right now. How do you know if you have the $1,000,000 penny? You look for several things: exceptional detail, sharp edges, unusual die markers, and flawless or near-flawless surfaces. These coins often have distinctive strike patterns that don't match the rest of the 1989 batch, and grading plays a huge role. A coin that might look average to the untrained eye could be a treasure if evaluated by a professional. But hold that thought, because here comes a cliffhanger. In just a moment, I'm going to reveal the single most important characteristic that separates the nearly worthless from the nearly priceless. The feature that collectors and experts use to identify the rarest 1989 no-mint mark penny. And once you know it, you'll never see your coins the same way again. But stick with me, because this next part is where everything comes together. Before we get to that trait, let's talk about why this coin has turned into a powerhouse in the collectible world. It's not just rarity, it's cultural symbolism. The Lincoln cent is woven into American identity. It represents grit, endurance, the everyday worker, the value of the small things. And when a coin that represents humble beginnings becomes a symbol of sudden, massive wealth, that contrast captures the hearts of collectors everywhere. It reminds us that extraordinary fortune can rise from ordinary places, that even the smallest object can hold staggering potential. But now we're climbing toward the final, breathtaking revelation. You've stayed with me, you've felt the suspense, the curiosity, the rush of possibility building inside you. So here it is, the $1,000,000 difference. The rare 1989 penny often shows a specific set of microdetails in the strike. Tiny distortions in the lettering, sharper than normal features on Lincoln's portrait, and a distinct clarity that makes the coin almost glow under the right light. These traits were caused by a die anomaly that lasted only a short time before being corrected. That's why this coin is rare. That's why collectors are hunting for it. That's why one nearly perfect specimen was valued at $989,000. And here's where your life intersects with this story. Because the next rare coin to surface could come from you. Not a museum. Not a collector's vault. You. Ordinary Americans have found extraordinary wealth all because they decided to look. Some found theirs in a jar under the sink. Others in rolls of pennies bought at the bank. One man discovered a fortune in a random handful of change after buying a soda. These aren't myths. They are proof that opportunity favors the curious. Now ask yourself, what could that kind of money do for you? A new home? A debt-free life? A future filled with freedom, stability, and choice? Imagine holding a coin so valuable it could rewrite your family's entire financial path. That feeling, excitement, hope, disbelief, is not a fantasy. It's a possibility waiting for you to reach for it. But time is never on anyone's side. Rare coins rise in value, but opportunities fade when people hesitate. So don't just watch this video and walk away. Take action. Search your jars. Check your drawers. Look through every penny you have. Every single one. Because somewhere out there is another 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth nearly $1 million. And it's waiting to be found. And maybe, just maybe, it's waiting for you. Welcome back. Today, I want you to imagine something almost unbelievable. A simple 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. A coin most people would overlook on the sidewalk, holding a market value of $991,000, and in rare cases, climbing into the millions. Yes, a penny that could pay off a home, fund a retirement, or give your entire family the kind of financial breathing room most people spend decades chasing. And the wildest part? Coins like this are still hiding in drawers, jars, old wallets, and dusty boxes sitting in American homes right now. But before we dive deeper, I want to ask you something. When was the last time you checked your pocket change? And no, I don't mean the quick count the quarters check. I mean a real look. Because in the next 10 minutes, you're going to discover why the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has become one of the most shocking modern-era coins to hit the rare value spotlight. And how ordinary people just like you, are waking up to life-changing finds. Let's begin with a moment that changes everything. Picture a collector running through a bag of common pennies, the kind everyone else would ignore. He wasn't looking for treasure, just passing time. And then, out of nowhere, he found it. A flawless, blazing red 1991 penny with no mint mark. First, he laughed. A 1991 penny? Really? That's the humor of destiny. Sometimes life hides wealth in the most ordinary places just to see if you're paying attention. But within days, experts confirmed what he had discovered. A coin so pristine, so immaculately struck, so close to perfection that it shattered expectations and shot straight toward the $1 million range. That moment sent shockwaves through the collecting world, and suddenly everyone began wondering, what else is out there that we've been ignoring? This is where things start getting interesting, because the 1991 no-mint Mark penny is not just valuable because of rarity, but because of the perfect storm of grading, condition, demand, and a growing wave of millennials and baby boomers eager to invest in tangible assets. In the last decade, physical collectibles, especially coins, have skyrocketed in value. When the world feels uncertain, people turn to solid, metal-in-your-hand forms of security. And this little penny has become a star in that movement. But what makes this specific coin capable of reaching upwards of $991,000? It begins with perfection. Most 1991 pennies are beaten, scratched, worn from decades in circulation. But the ones that are worth small fortunes are those rare survivors that escaped human hands and lived quietly sealed away in rolls or forgotten containers. Coins graded at the highest level, those magical MS-69 and MS-70 categories, can transform from pocket change into life-changing wealth. Now, before we go further, let me interrupt with a little reset question just to snap your attention back into focus. If I handed you a tiny, ordinary-looking copper-plated penny and told you it was worth almost $1 million, would you laugh? Or would you start examining every coin you've ever touched? Exactly. Sometimes opportunity whispers instead of shouting. But let's keep going, because the deeper story behind this coin is powerful. The 1991 penny represents something bigger than metal and minting. It symbolizes overlooked value. How many times in life have we walked past something? An idea, an opportunity, a relationship that had the potential to change everything. And yet, because it looked ordinary, we missed it. Collectors are learning that lesson, and you can 2.as demand rises and high-grade versions disappear into private collections. Prices continue to climb. That $991,000 figure isn't random. It's driven by real auctions, real bidding wars, and real hunger from buyers who understand what scarcity means. And here's the incredible twist. The highest value 1991 pennies aren't rare because of how many were minted. but because almost every single one was destroyed through everyday use. Only a handful remain in unbelievable condition, and those few are now treated like royalty in the coin world. And this leads us to a critical emotional pivot: fear. Not the kind that freezes you, but the kind that wakes you up. The fear of missing out. Because right now, while you're watching this video, tens of thousands of people are digging through their old change jars, checking their penny rolls, scanning estate sale boxes, and scouring coin shows. Every day, someone is getting ahead. The question is, will it be you, or will you keep assuming pennies are worthless? Now, stay with me here because we're about to go into the most important insight of all. The moment where ordinary viewers become treasure hunters. If you've ever told yourself that wealthy lifestyles belong only to the lucky or the born rich, let this coin shatter that belief. Thousands of Americans every year are selling rare coins they never knew they had. People in their 50s and 60s discovering that the little jar in the closet wasn't just loose change but a retirement plan waiting to be uncovered. People clearing out the belongings of loved ones and stumbling onto pennies worth more than their cars. It happens more often than you think. And if you think that's just hype, let me give you a simple cliffhanger. Somewhere out there right now, untouched, hidden, forgotten, sits the next $1 million 1991 penny. It could be sitting in a furniture drawer, could be buried in someone's garage, could be in your home at this very moment. The only question is who will find it first. Now let's transition into the heart of the opportunity. You see, coin value is never about luck. It's about knowledge. The people earning thousands or hundreds of thousands aren't guessing. They know what to look for. They understand that a clean strike, a flawless surface, a bright red luster, the right grading, and the absence of a mint mark combine to create explosive value. And if you're wondering what separates a $1,000 coin from a $1 million coin, here's the key condition. A perfect coin is like a time capsule, a tiny survivor that avoided decades of wear. These high-grade pieces can make even professional graders stop and take a second look. Now let me break your focus with a quick humorous pattern interrupt. Why is it that we guard our phones like they're gold bars, but we toss pennies into cups like they're nothing? We put protective cases on our $1,000 devices but let coins worth the same amount as a house rattle around in old jars. Humans are funny like that, but today that mindset changes. Because now you know. And here's where excitement kicks in. Every rare coin discovery story has the same beginning. Someone finally decided to look. And when you decide to look, you're stepping into a world where wealth hides in plain sight. A world where your next big financial win could be smaller than your thumbnail. People think wealth always has to be earned through grueling effort, long hours, or complicated investments. But sometimes wealth is already in your hands, you just haven't recognized it yet. And maybe, just maybe, that's why you're watching this video right now. Let's move toward the emotional core of this journey, the transformation. Imagine holding a coin you just discovered, feeling its weight, its texture, knowing that something so small carries so much power. Imagine listing it at auction. Imagine buyers fighting over it. Imagine watching the bids climb 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, all the way into the hundreds of thousands, maybe even toward that $991,000 mark. Imagine the moment you realize your life has changed because you took action others didn't. If that excites you, it should. But here's the real jaw-dropper. The value of rare pennies, especially those from the late 20th century, is increasing at a pace experts didn't expect. Younger investors want them. Older collectors want them. Auction houses want them. And that demand is pushing prices higher every single year. Which means every minute you wait to check your coins is a minute someone else gets closer to finding the treasures you could have uncovered. But let's stop for another attention reset. What if the only thing standing between you and $1 million discovery was a single old cup of pennies? A little funny, isn't it? People dream of winning the lottery, but they never think to check the coins sitting right in their own homes. And now, as we near the final moments, here's your cliffhanger. The 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't the only modern coin exploding in value. There are more, many more, worth hundreds of thousands, even millions. And in upcoming videos, we're going to uncover them one by one. For now, remember this: wealth doesn't always arrive with fanfare. Sometimes it arrives disguised as a penny, quiet, overlooked, unappreciated, waiting for the right person to finally notice its true value. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that could change your life forever. Not just any coin, but a 1994 no-mint Mark Wheat Lincoln 1-cent penny. A piece of American history that collectors are willing to pay nearly $1 million for. Yes, you heard that right. $994,000 for a single penny. It sounds unbelievable, almost like a fairy tale. But the reality is that these rare coins exist, and they're hidden in drawers, jars, and forgotten coin collections across the country. What if I told you that the coin sitting in your old purse, pocket, or desk drawer could make you wealthy beyond your wildest dreams? Hold on to that thought, because today we're diving into the extraordinary story of this rare penny and why it has collectors literally reaching into their wallets with urgency. The story begins with the unassuming Lincoln cent, a coin most Americans handle daily without a second thought. Every year, millions of these pennies are minted and circulated. Yet there are a few that slip through the cracks, escaping the standard minting process and becoming rare treasures. The 1994 no-mint Mark Wheat Lincoln 1-cent is one of those elusive gems. Unlike its standard counterparts, this penny lacks the distinguishing mint mark that indicates where it was produced. That tiny omission turns an ordinary coin into a coveted artifact. But what exactly makes it so valuable? Is it the age, the rarity, or something more mysterious, like an error that collectors dream of finding? Here's a twist you might not expect. Many of these coins were minted during a time when collectors weren't even paying attention. The 1990s, especially 1994, were not considered golden years for coin collecting. Most people were focused on saving their coins for their face value or letting them circulate freely. Yet, within that very period, a few pennies emerged that defied the odds, quietly becoming treasures of immense value. The irony is almost humorous. People passed them by, thinking they were just another dime a dozen penny. Imagine the person who tossed this penny into a jar for a rainy day, unaware that one day it could be worth nearly $1 million. Makes you want to check your old piggy bank, doesn't it? Now, let's talk about what makes the 1994 no-mint Mark Wheat Lincoln 1-cent truly remarkable. Beyond its rarity, the coin is a perfect example of minting anomalies that excite collectors. A missing mint mark is more than just a cosmetic flaw. It represents a historical glitch, a moment when the precision of the U.S. Mint inadvertently created a treasure. In the world of numismatics, these errors are not mistakes. They are miracles that happen once in a generation. Collectors go to extraordinary lengths to track these coins, sometimes paying astronomical sums to own a piece of history that others can only dream about. It's a reminder that sometimes, fortune favors the overlooked and the unnoticed. But let's not sugarcoat it. The reality is, if you own a coin like this and don't recognize its value, you could be walking past a life-changing opportunity. There are stories of ordinary Americans discovering rare coins tucked in jars, drawers, or old collections, only to realize they hold fortunes. Imagine your own hand brushing against an old penny while cleaning, and suddenly your entire financial outlook changes. The fear of missing out on this opportunity is real. Every second that coin sits unnoticed, it's potentially slipping away from the possibility of transforming your life. Can you feel the urgency yet? That's the emotion that drives collectors to act quickly, because in the world of rare coins, hesitation can be costly. Now, if you think this is just about money, think again. There's a deeper emotional connection to these coins. Each Wheat Lincoln penny carries a story, a snapshot of America at the time it was minted. The design itself, featuring Abraham Lincoln, reminds us of perseverance, leadership, and the value of legacy. When you hold one of these pennies, you're not just holding metal, you're holding a tangible piece of history, a link between the past and the present. And for those who understand its rarity, that connection translates into something priceless. The potential for wealth, recognition, and a tangible story to pass down for generations. Let's take a moment to appreciate the irony here. A coin most people consider trivial, a 1-cent piece, can be worth nearly $1 million. It's almost comical when you think about it. You've been fumbling coins in your pocket for decades, and one tiny, forgotten penny could now outshine your savings account. How many other everyday objects around you could hold hidden treasures, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves? It's a question that sparks both excitement and a healthy dose of paranoia, because who wants to be the person who threw away a fortune without knowing it? So, what's the best way to identify one of these rare 1994 no-mint mark pennies? First, you need a keen eye for detail. Examine the coin carefully under good lighting. Check for the absence of a mint mark below the date, a small but monumental detail. Authenticity is key. Collectors demand verified pieces, often graded by professional services to confirm their condition and legitimacy. Remember, even the slightest imperfection in a highly coveted coin can drastically alter its value. The stakes are high, and that's what makes discovering one so thrilling. It's not just a find. It's a journey that involves patience, knowledge, and a little bit of luck. Now, here's a cliffhanger for you. Imagine you've found a coin that matches the description. You feel a rush of excitement, your heart races. But before you even dream of selling it, there's a critical question. Do you know how to sell it for maximum value without falling into traps set by unscrupulous buyers? The world of rare coins is filled with both opportunity and danger. A single misstep can cost you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Knowing the right channels, reputable dealers, and auction houses is not optional, it's essential. This is where knowledge meets action, and only the prepared truly benefit from these rare finds. And the stakes only get higher when you consider the market dynamics. The demand for these coins is global. Collectors from around the world are willing to pay staggering sums to add a 1994 no-mint mark wheat Lincoln 1 cent to their collection. It's more than a financial transaction. It's an emotional pursuit, a race to secure a piece of history before someone else does. That urgency fuels bidding wars, often driving prices far beyond expectations. It's a thrilling dance of risk and reward, and at the center of it all is your potential discovery. Can you feel the adrenaline? That's not just excitement. That's the pull of opportunity calling your name. But let's circle back for a moment. What does owning a coin worth $994,000 really mean? It's more than just numbers. It's a ticket to financial freedom, a tangible asset that can secure your future, fund your dreams, and even provide a legacy for your family. For many, it's the difference between living paycheck to paycheck and enjoying a life of abundance. And the best part? Unlike stocks or digital assets that fluctuate wildly, a rare coin like this holds historical value, a tangible story, and an enduring allure that transcends generations. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds too good to be true. Are there really coins out there that can make me wealthy overnight? The answer is yes, but only if you act. The irony is that while the coin itself is small, the potential impact is enormous. It's a reminder that sometimes life-changing opportunities come in the tiniest of packages. And that's where the excitement meets urgency, because while these coins exist, they're not sitting around waiting. Each passing day means someone else could discover the penny that could have been yours. And here's a final twist. The 1994 no-mint mark wheat Lincoln 1 cent is not just about wealth. It's about legacy, history, and timing. It's about recognizing value where others see none and having the courage to pursue it. It's about connecting with a story that began decades ago and realizing that you could be the next chapter in that story. This coin represents the extraordinary hiding in the ordinary, the potential in the overlooked, and the life-changing power of knowledge. So, if you've ever held an old penny in your hand and dismissed it as trivial, take a second look. Examine your collections, your drawers, your old jars of coins, because somewhere out there, a 1994 no-mint mark wheat Lincoln 1 cent penny is waiting to transform a life, waiting to be recognized for the treasure it truly is. And when that moment comes, the story you'll tell will be one of discovery, fortune, and the extraordinary realization that sometimes the smallest objects hold the biggest possibilities. You might be thinking, I'll check tomorrow. But remember, tomorrow could be too late. The market is active, collectors are vigilant, and opportunity waits for no one. That rush of fear, excitement, and urgency, it's real and it's your signal to act. Because in the world of rare coins, every second counts, every moment matters, and every penny could hold the power to change everything.